Hi guys, I'm back to pick up where we left off last week. We did 7.1, talking about what is classification, what is taxonomy. We're going to move on into the levels of classification today. These are things that are constantly changing, so sometimes some of the older information, sometimes it changes over time. Well, that was last year's date. We're going to go over your homework first. We'll talk about levels of classification. I've got a little interactive thing at the end. It's in your slides. If you want to play some interactive games that deal with classification, you can. I'll show you where those are. So let's go ahead and get started here. Here is your work from the other day. The process in which scientists arrange organisms into groups based on similarities is classification. Scientists have arranged organisms into groups. They give the organisms names. The science is called taxonomy. To determine biological relationships, a taxonomist compares the blank of two different species. Biological relationships are often going to be comparing the traits. Blank are groups of organisms that share certain characteristics. That one's taxons. We'll look at the different taxons today. Blank evidence may include characteristics such as color, size, and weight. Those are your physical traits. Scientists sometimes compare the DNA sequences of two organisms for similarities. This is going to be genetic evidence. So if you were looking for an example of physical evidence, it could be color, bone structure, shape of the skin, how they feed, how they reproduce. Those are physical evidence. Genetics has to be a DNA sequence. So with that being said, let's get into today's lesson. Seven levels, and they actually added an extra one now. It's called domain. They've added this even since I've started teaching. That wasn't even out. The modern classification system was developed by Carolus Linnaeus, whose original name was Carel von Linne. He actually Latinized his name. All classification is written in Latin. Latin is mostly used in science today. He used the binomial nomenclature. If you look at the word binomial nomenclature, break it down, binomial. Bi means two, nome is from the Latin name. So binomial nomenclature is going to be naming things with two names. Specifically, in this type of binomial naming, you're going to use genus and species. Linnaeus classified over 4,000 species of plants based on how they reproduce. I'm thinking of it. Make sure you're watching the videos at home. Make sure you're in the slides and you're watching the videos. How do you write the scientific name of a species? The first word is the genus. The second word is the species. You always capitalize the genus and you lowercase the species. So if you wanted to do a grizzly bear, the genus for all bears is Ursus. The species for a grizzly bear is Arctos, meaning bear of the Arctic. If you were doing humans, our genus is Homo, our species is sapien. That's us. Homo sapien there. Oh, and it's hard to do it unless you're typing, but you would italicize it. Felis concolor. Any guesses as to what that is? It's in the feline category for those of you playing along at home. Well, if you didn't know, Felis is the cat family, and Felis concolor is actually a mountain lion, which we do have some mountain lions here in PA, not very many. There are 7 main taxons that we use. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. This is the mnemonic that I've used for years and years and years to remember the order. King Philip came over for great spaghetti. The lineman in me makes me use spaghetti. Some people in other grades have done from Germany swimming. Why you would swim from Germany, I don't know. So, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Each level breaks this one down. So kingdoms are broken down into phylum. In our case, if you look at our kingdom, this is kingdom Animalia. We're all animals. We have to move around. We have to find food. Our phylum is phylum Chordata. Chordata means vertebrate. We have a backbone. Class is Mammalia. That means we are warm-blooded, we have fur, we feed our babies milk, and they give birth to live young. Order, we are in the order Primates. All of the monkeys are in the order Primates, and including humans are in there too, which makes sense. We kind of look like monkeys at sometimes. The family, our human family is called the Hominidae. Hominidae. Our genus is Homo, and our species is sapien. To remember the order again, you've got to be able to put these in order. If you were on a test for me, King Philip came over for great spaghetti. So I have some pictures here. Each one of these is a link. Some of these are related, some of them are not. How do you tell which ones are related and which ones are not? You have Ursus americanus, Oedicolius virginianus, Canis lupus, Phaseolus vulgaris, Hordeum vulgaris, Canis latrans, Quercus alba, and Lynx rufus. 2 of those organisms are very closely related. Can you guess which ones? Did you guess? I'm betting that some of you picked this Phaseolus vulgaris and Hordeum vulgaris, but that is wrong. They're 2 different things, because I'll show you. Phaseolus vulgaris is a kidney bean, like you make chili out of. Hordeum vulgaris is barley. My grandmother used to make beef and barley soup. Not that closely related. But the ones that are most closely related on here, Canis lupus, which is your typical wolf, and then the other one that is really, really related is Canis latrans, which is actually a coyote. So wolves and coyotes are directly related. So when you're looking for relationships, if they're in the same genus, like Canis lupus, and Canis latrans. Because the genus is the same, the species are going to be very closely related. If you look at the different kingdoms, here's a picture of each different kingdom here. This is the animal kingdom. This one is the protist kingdom. This one was hard to find. This is the Archaea kingdom. See that yellow nasty stuff? This is a hot spring in Yellowstone National Park. They are feeding on the sulfur in that very, very hot water that nothing else would live in. Mushrooms, yeasts, and molds. That's the fungi kingdom. Obviously the roses, and then these are all the plant kingdom. And that's actually a electron microscope picture of bacteria. That's for the bacteria kingdom. You guys have plenty of time at home. If you click on this link on your iPad, it will take you to an activity where you're classifying different organisms. Let's finish up today. So when scientists are naming organisms, they put all of this stuff down. Well, you know, if you're out in the wild, you may want to know what species of insect you're looking at or what type of tree you're looking at. So there's two different types of doing that. You can use a dichotomous key. If you go on and take some biology courses in college, I did an invertebrate zoology course, and we had to identify all of these different invertebrates using dichotomous keys. There is a picture in the book, and basically it'll ask you, does it have 6 legs or does it have 8 legs? Well, 8 legs goes to the arachnids, 6 legs will direct you into insects. It'll ask you, does it have 1 set of wings, no wings, or 2 sets of wings in some cases. That one, then you go to another place. In the book, this is on page 217. If you're in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, they often use what we call field guides. Basically, a field guide is a bunch of pictures, and you match up the picture of what you're looking at, and it will have a little blurb like, this is a robin, and the name of the robin, and then it'll have the genus and species for a robin. Or it could be for trees. These are each actual dichotomous keys that you guys could try. The most common ones around here, you could look at different types of trees. And here's a dichotomous trees. In Pennsylvania, you've got many different types of oak, beech, ash. You've got a bunch of pine trees, and then you've got the eastern hemlock. Depending on what you have, you guys could play around with that. It would be a good. And then this one, I always get questions from students about what certain bugs are. They find them this time of year and start bringing them to me. So this is more like a field guide for bugs. And then you can identify certain types of bugs with it. Once again, these are all links. All the links are provided in your slides. So, with that being said, the things that I would definitely make sure you take away from this section: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. I guarantee you when you guys see larger standardized tests, they're going to talk about this. The group that is larger yet is the domain. The domain is going to take it into basically archaea and eukarya are sort of heading in one direction, and bacteria kind of go off in their own evolutionary little direction. So at this time, I'm done. Make sure you guys do this reading. Watch those video clips. The video clips explain what I'm doing. I can't film myself and playing the video clips. So you guys need to make sure that you're watching the video clips provided for you. When you're done, Worksheet 7.2 is going to pop up in your Google Classroom. And thank you and have a great day.